Let's be honest.
I like girls who like girls. Yeah, I like girls who like
Decision to date women. Would you say there is reality to the queer theory? Now, there is this theory that sociologists is looking at called queer theory, and it basically says
Hmm.
an approach to social and cultural study which seeks to challenge or deconstruct traditional ideas of sexuality and gender, especially the acceptance of heterosexuality as normative and the perception of a rigid dichotomy of male and female traits. So basically, queer
Wow.
theory is trying to debunk everything that we know to be acceptable of heteronormativity in today's society.
Wow. Okay.
I know, right? So, like, in
That's deep.
short, because you're like, what she asked me?
That's deep. That's
So in
deep.
short,
Hmm.
would you say that queer theory is something that you consider played a role in your life, like far as holding on to normative standards? Or would you say that society in any way, well, you kind of mentioned this before, but shaped your decision to date women?
Mm, so I would say that I feel like society I feel like society, of course, growing up, shaped my perspective as far
Mhm,
as like only to date heterosexually, because of everything I had mentioned
mhm,
previously growing up. But also it wasn't just because of what was considered like I would say like normal. It was
mhm,
or of course not just religious upbringings, but also because thinking about like growing up and as a kid and I'm watching movies, I'm watching Disney movies or whatever the case, and listening to music, like everything was pretty much, it was always heterosexual. It was
mhm.
always the natural order of like biology and how things went, as far as of course with the creation of children and how things were put in place for that to keep things
Mhm,
going. So I think that for me it was a good thing and a bad thing.
mhm.
And I kind of feel like the only reason why I feel like it was positive because it's what's natural in the world, and you
Mhm.
have to represent everything with that. But also I do feel like it was a negative thing because it isn't really the full representation of what's out there, cuz
Yes.
it's like, you know people there are people out there who were always a part of the LGBTQ plus community. However, a lot of things were hidden, a lot of people were DL or whatever the case may be, and things were concealed because of, I feel like, how to pretty much keeping us in one mindset as a
Mhm,
society. That's how I put it. But I feel like I disagree with that narrative, because for me it's not just about the LGBTQ plus community.
mhm,
It's about representation, having representation for all people.
mhm,
And I feel like, you have people who are special needs, you have people who are autistic, people who have dwarfism. And I feel like these people, everyone needs to be represented in society, period.
mhm,
Because people, we want to see ourselves in things socially. We want to see ourselves represented because it's about being pretty much accepting who you are. From
mhm.
my perspective, this is just what I think.
Yes.
And I feel like once you can see that being presented in other ways that can relate to you personally, I feel like that's what makes people more socially like happy and accepting of things, because it's kind of like you're trying to pretty much tell people, oh, okay, hey, well, we're just going to hide this and hide that. But when people step outside, you're gonna see everything in the world. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think
Right.
certain things should be hidden. Like I said, I will go back to I can understand why, but do I agree that it should be like that? I don't. And I feel like also this allows people to also not only just live in their truth, but can also, even if people don't identify with the community, people can also see what's out there and also can see like, hey, you know what, life is just not black and white. Life does not, like you told me, it's not linear. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's everything, it's just different ways to be, to do anything or to have anything. So I just kind of feel like for me, I don't agree with it. The queer theory thing, I'm always support the community. I'm always, because of course I'm naturally a part of it. But
Mhm.
I do kind of feel like now that I'm older, I think for me, it's just more focused on pretty much not living in fear or
Mhm.
compromising my truth as a person. And I feel like people shouldn't have to do that. I feel like the main thing that should be focused on is people being able to naturally gravitate to be or to do what you feel that you
Mhm.
want, even if it doesn't fit into what the world perceives is right.
This is 23 like Mike. Girl, I like girls who like girls.